Greetings duplicant and welcome to the breach. As I mentioned in the end of the last episode, I've been digging out some more biomes in the background, making some space for some new projects. I think one of these projects will be consolidating all the water around the map. But during this excavation project, I had an odd occurrence. You can see me checking the food that I have in the freezers. 76 kilocalories of seafood, 12,000 kilocalories of pepper bread, 36,000 kilocalories of surf and turf, and 5,000 kilocalories of omelette. This is important because all the fish disappeared in my aquarium. The fish in here now is what I've hunted down lurking in different areas of the map. It will be at least 25 cycles before this aquarium starts producing food again. As you can see on the map, I've excavated the area between the two volcanoes and continued to dig out the oil biome. Yes, there is freestanding water in the oil biome, and no, that hasn't leaked from anywhere, that's just how it spawned. As you can see, I have the Slickster Ranches pressured to 19.1 kilos of CO2 per tile, and the temperature is just above 72 degrees Celsius. At one point I had accidentally overpressured, which had caused some problems with my natural gas generators. The culprit was this CO2 vent, but it's blocked off for the time being until I have more slicksters devouring carbon dioxide. I also managed to overheat my thermal aquatuner. At some point I'm going to need to go in there and repair that. Let's get round to taming this aluminium volcano. Because of the heat that the aluminium comes out of the volcano, we're going to need two steam generators to cool it. We'll also want some active cooling as well. The thermal aquatuner will cool both the steam generators and the output of the aluminium after we've extracted as much heat in the steam room as possible. First thing, we'll block off a 4-tile high section for the steam room. So now the roof has been built, we're going to add the two steam generators and their outputs, which we'll skip over where we're going to have the cooling, and we'll pipe the output to flow towards where both the aquatuner is and the volcano, because these will be the primary sources of heat within the steam room itself. During the editing process I realised I should have built these insulated, not standard pipes. Yes, I have accidentally built this smart battery out of copper. It will be changed to steel very soon. The idea behind this volcano tamer is it's going to be self-powered, so it'll only work when the volcano is actually erupting. If this volcano had been closer to my power spine, I would have tied it in and utilised the excess power it generates. As you can see, I'm using the radiant pipe to cool the steam generators. Insulated pipe everywhere else except directly underneath the volcano, where I'll be using aluminium pipes. This area will be used to cool the aluminium on conveyor rails as it exits the steam room. Just making sure the liquid pipe thermosensor is made out of copper and not the lead that I'd initially made it out of. I vacuumed out the area and a good quantity of water has been added into the room, so now we can uncover the volcano and start allowing that aluminium to erupt, because I need some of that aluminium to finish off my build. I've realised how weird it is to be looking at the volcano in the top right corner of the screen and not in the middle. I have no problems working like this, but I'll edit it so it just shows you the important parts in the middle of the screen. Now we come to the more important part of the build. The volcano spews out molten metal, which will get immediately cooled by the steam to blocks of metal. These metal blocks will still be extremely hot, over 300 degrees Celsius generally, and they will release their heat into the environment quite slowly. We're going to pick up those blocks of metal and add them onto a conveyor rail. We will then allow them to rotate around the steam room, therefore exchanging their heat with the steam. As this conveyor rail gets to where the hot metal is erupted from the volcano, we'll change the line to steel because we don't want the conveyor rail melting. If the metal on the rail is over a certain temperature, we'll send it around the loop again. If not, we'll take it out of the steam room. We add the conveyor bridge just to make sure that the metal knows which direction it's going in. The reason we unstoppered the volcano is because we needed that aluminium to finish the build off. We're going to build some radiant pipework out of aluminium underneath the neutronium from the volcano. I've collected some polluted water from the local environment to use as coolant for the aquatuner. We've got a duplicate ability analysing the volcano, and I've realised I need to add a conveyor meter to the rail. If I only send 3 kilos of metal through the cooling block below the volcano itself, I can easily chill the output to less than 20 degrees Celsius. You are seeing that correctly. The volcano has gone dormant for the next 75 cycles. Top left hand corner, I've got a damage overheated notice. I better go and check that out. I'd build the critter drop off out of cobalt ore instead of gold amalgam. Well, this is nice and easy to fix. And then I just add the final layer of insulated tiles and this project is complete. Yes, this setup looks vaguely familiar. The workings are exactly the same for the copper volcano as the aluminium volcano, except this is permanently powered and the cooling loop is extended to cool down the farm below the volcano. This farm is going to be used to grow Sleetwheat, so we're aiming to get the temperature in here down to between 0 and 5 degrees Celsius. Didn't plan on building a second volcano tamer in the same episode. Due to the death of the Pacu, I've been struggling with food for the last 50 cycles, and it got to the point that I decided that enough was enough and I would sort out my food problems. And to do that, I thought I'd grow the highly versatile Sleetwheat. Another benefit of this setup is it's going to start drawing a lot more power from the grid. The more natural gas we burn, the more carbon dioxide we produce, the more oil is produced by the slicksters. Another benefit of building a second volcano tamer is that you'll actually get to see it in action. For the last 3 cycles we've been doing some tidying up around the base, allowing the aquatuner to work and cool down the cooling loop. But it's time to switch this thing on. This tamer will be working flat out for a long time because there's about 50 tons of copper. So you can see that the sweeper loads the autoloader dumps the copper onto the rail. These small quantities of copper exchange the heat more efficiently with the steam. The copper works its way around to the temperature sensor. If the copper is cool enough, it'll take it out of the steam room. The flow will then be limited to 3 kilograms and it will be passed through the metal block. This metal block will cool the copper down so the duplicant could handle it without an atmospheric suit on. And that's it, one volcano tamed, and we now basically have all the copper we'll ever need. The copper appears to be exiting the tamer at about 20 degrees Celsius, which is a drop of about 300 degrees Celsius from when it was sat in 25-ton blocks. And here we have the cooling loop. Purple is insulated pipework and yellow is copper. These could be upgraded to aluminium if I wanted. The water storage acts as a way to even out any spikes in temperature. The automation is mostly self-explanatory except for the conveyor meter. The meter is set to 3 units. Once it lets 3 units through, it resets itself and then lets another 3 units through. On the main rail loop, the stacks of copper at 20 kilograms, allowing them to exchange the heat with the steam in the room quickly and efficiently. The cooling loop is more stabilised, so it's time to add Sleetwheat to the farm. Well, 126 Sleetwheat, that'll be enough for the farm and to supply some food for the duplicants. Once the Sleetwheat is planted, the sweepers will automatically fill up the tiles with dirt. Then we can delete the storage containers and plant another Sleetwheat. Well, now we've got access to some Sleetwheat, we can add some more recipes to the grill and the gas range, which should nicely alleviate any food problems until the Sleetwheat grows and we can harvest it. Turning the Sleetwheat into frost buns and then those frost buns into frost burgers will be a good food source for our duplicants and improved morale as well. It has been 75 cycles since we finished building the aluminium tamer, but here it is up and running and it's getting the aluminium out at 12 degrees Celsius. Now that the aluminium volcano is erupting, we have the resources to upgrade the radiant pipes in the steam room. While we're in there, we will add extra pipe work for adding 2 more steam generators, and of course we'll repair the thermal aquatuner. As you can see, I'm using a bead lock to break into the steam room. I'm really reticent to use this, but I just needed to get this done quickly. Going to clean up the liquid oil on the floor to make sure that there's no physics shenanigans by Oni that would break my liquid lock. As you can see, I've already pre-planned the work I'm going to do in the steam room. As soon as we break in, all these jobs will be added to the queue and hopefully the duplicates will get on it sharpish. The final part of the job is just adding the liquid vents for 2 new steam turbines. That's all the work completed and time to seal up the steam room. Obviously I've lost a little bit of pressure in there, but I could always add some more water to the steam room if needed. Yeah, I'm going to be dumping a lot of steam into the local environment, but not going to be too much of a bother, I don't think. And the final point of business here is to get the duplicants to clean up the mess they've made. This is a hot carbon dioxide vent. It releases its carbon dioxide at 500 degrees Celsius, which is great because I want hot carbon dioxide. The only problem with this one is that it's got some zombie spores in there. So in the next episode, this is one of the things I'm going to want to do is clean up this carbon dioxide vent. The Sleetwheat farm is now having its water regulated to make sure that each tile doesn't contain 10 kilos of water. If the tiles contain a lot of water, it can cause two problems. One, it takes extra cooling to keep the whole place cool, and also water can freeze in the pipes, causing damage. Because my duplicants have worked so hard this episode, I decided to start doing an upgrade for the base. So they're getting a proper recreation room. In the next episode, I need to sort out growing some bristleberries for both the juicer and making berry sludge. I no longer have any concerns over food now that the Sleetwheat farm's online. Well, that's it for this episode. Thank you for joining me, and as always, I'll see you on the other side.